Okay, I'm recording this meeting too.
Okay. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Well, good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining the next version of Jeopardy. We're going to do it all again this year and hopefully years to come. We had a meeting with a smaller group of people a few weeks back to talk about questions and how we continue to write questions. And for the sake of simplicity, what we elected to do this year is to basically have all of you write questions in the same category that you wrote last year, so that hopefully you're familiar with the subject material and can more ably write new questions. Lauren distributed a spreadsheet of topics and where questions have been written and questions are lacking, so that as you're writing the questions, you can see that there may be a topic that has 10 questions written or a topic that has 1 question written, and perhaps focus your new question writing on the places of deficiencies. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
And that way, with time, we can have a robust question bank that's more evenly representing the curriculum. There have also been a number of updates to the curriculum in the last year, so there may be new material to draw from, so that you're not, really beating an article to death to try to get one more question out of it. And then, of course, what was that?
I plan to email everybody with their sections, just the new articles or new items that have been added, so they could maybe pull out some questions from there. So I'll email everyone.
I think our long-term goal is to reach a point where we don't have to write as many questions every year. Our question bank right now is under 500 questions, so we're not really at a point where we can start just reusing questions. I think it'll be too obvious and repetitive. You probably need a question bank of 1,000 or more to be able to do that reliably. So with that in mind, we're going to ask again this year that everybody write 7 questions using the same criteria that we used last year, in the form of an answer. The answer is a question, citing the source from the curriculum very specifically. If you include page number when we're doing question review, it's very helpful when you're doing your references. As you can see here, that way when we are reviewing them as a group again, just to vet them to make sure they're good, we can say, okay, let's pull up CV24 page 5, and we know exactly where the reference is, and we can then work with that reference to tweak the question if necessary. Anybody have questions about question writing, procedures, curriculum, etc.?
No.
I just would need a new login to the LMS.
Yes, we will do that. All the question writers will get a login for sure. Thank you for bringing that up. And that should, Lauren, when you send the email, especially to the European colleagues, we'll have to include new login information. And in fact, Lauren, I think I need new login information.
Oh yeah, because you're leaving UW.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else on question writing, just how we're going to go about doing it? Is everybody comfortable with just resuming the topics they had last year? Or is anybody so sick with the topic they had last year that they want to move on?
Oh, it's okay.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. I think the next item was timeline, right, Lauren?
Yes. Well, that was the first item.
So So timeline, we're now in question writing mode. And once again, our timelines are determined by the national meetings and the international meetings. So EACS is really the driver of the question writing schedule because we just recycle the EACS questions for the Southern Thoracic. So we need to have questions in by the end of August so that we have time to review them and construct the game boards, which for those of you who haven't done that, it takes a lot more time than it seems. We do a lot of question vetting and question revision. So we do need a little bit of time to be able to do that. So we really appreciate everybody getting their questions in. If you can get them in even earlier, that's fine. But by August 31st, we really need to have them in. And then we spend the month of September reviewing the questions and constructing the game boards so that we have time to distribute them to the EACS team, make sure that they're comfortable with the questions. EACS is in October, Southern Thoracic is in November, and then we will, we may need to have a few additional questions written in anticipation of the finals at the STS in January. EACS is in Milan this year, right?
Yep.
And where is Southern?
It's in some Amelia Island in Florida.
Island, Florida.
Okay. And where is STS?
San Diego.
San Diego. Okay. So again, if any of you are able to attend these meetings and one, serve as judges, two, cheer on the crowd, or three, just come and have some fun, please try to do so. Lauren, you want to show the question assignments? Any questions about the timeline? I think it's pretty straightforward. So the assignments, again, we followed the same list as we did last time, and have a nice even mix of EACS and US or North American question writers to keep it fair. Next item on the agenda, Lauren. I don't think we're going to take very long to get through this. Everybody can't shut up on the phone.
Yeah, we're covering everything out of order, I think.
Yeah. Question bank totals. I referred to this earlier. Again, just to give you an idea of where we are. Didn't you have this totaled up somewhere, Lauren? How many questions do we have total?
I have it. I'm not on this spreadsheet, but I can add them together. I think it
was less than 500, if I recall.
Yeah, it was around 300. Plus, there are questions that are not on this list because the very first year we didn't tie the questions to the curriculum. So
Right.
There's about 70 or 80 that are not included here. But
Yeah, and we talked about that too. The questions from the first year, quite frankly, weren't very good. And we could try to revive them, but that would require basically writing new questions. And we didn't have references from the curriculum in them, so we can either revive them or rewrite them or just write new questions. So we just decided to throw them out, kind of. And if anybody is interested in reviewing them and reviving them, by all means, that would be wonderful.
Well, what would be for help? Probably you can give feedback if we do any not good questions, so we can avoid doing that in the future.
I'm sorry, ask that again.
Sorry. If it would be good to get a feedback about the quality of the questions. So if they are not good, that we can avoid doing bad questions in the future.
Great point. We don't
because I have no idea about how my questions have been.
So we do have question reviews, and The question writers are invited to those meetings. So when we review your questions, you are invited to those meetings to go through them live.
Couldn't attend, possible.
No, I know it's not always possible. We also don't have a mechanism to write it down and give detailed feedback. We can try to do that. Maybe, Lauren, this year, as we do question revisions, we can just send back the final questions with the original questions submitted. At least there would be that degree of feedback. Again, in terms of question formatting, the key to the question writing is that the answers need to be absolutely immutable. There can't be any vagary. So obviously, the anatomic questions are very clear. The decision-making questions are less clear and harder to write. But if you give enough details so that there's absolutely one answer, and that it can't be questioned by the contestants, that's always helpful. I think that might be it. Any other questions on the phone? Any other discussion points on the phone?
No, seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and I just want to say, along with the question writing PDF on the Excel sheet where you actually write your questions, I just populated everybody's name. It's already there. So if you see GB1 means game board 1, game board 2, 3, 4, and 5, they're all on different tabs. So you could just pop your questions in your section. And then
again,
send the spreadsheet back to me.
Let me reiterate, putting the reference and even the page number from the curriculum is really, really important. Some of you may or may not know, this past year during the Jeopardy final at the STS, one or more of the questions was contested from the contestants, and we did go to the curriculum to put those to rest, and we cited the curriculum and page number very precisely. That's very, very helpful. Although we think this is fun, the contestants think this is the end of their life. And so we have to take it seriously. All right. If there's no other questions, I don't see any reason to keep everybody on the phone. We've recorded this for the people that could not be on the phone, and they can obviously call and ask questions as necessary. Okay, everybody. All right. Thanks for calling in, everybody. Have a good day. Good night.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.